everybody, welcome back to another episode of, we still don't have a name, so if anybody has any name suggestions, again, I have got one that I'm going to run by the girls after this show, which I actually forgot about until just now, so I have got one that I'm going to run by the girls, but yeah, welcome back to the show regardless. Obviously there's some big talking points. There's been midweek football and we're only a day away from the weekend's football. So we've obviously got some big talking points. How are you girls, first of all?
I'm gonna let Beth go first because she looks like she's just, so happy. Go ahead, girl. You go first.
Yeah, it's been a great week for a Chelsea fan. We didn't lose either of our two games. We haven't conceded like a goal. We conceded like one goal under Tuchel, and I'm happy. We dominated Liverpool. I know they're not their best. That doesn't matter. 3 points. I'm so happy. Yeah.
Doesn't matter. You did it. Yeah, it was a very interesting game considering the big games haven't been overly great, I wouldn't say, this season. They've been pretty dead, especially the derbies. How are you, Jess? Are you good?
Yeah, I'm so good. We're playing so well under Arteta. We're not really giving up that many goals. We just beat Leicester. Vardy didn't score, so I am just elated, girl. No, yeah. But really, I'm good. Arsenal's playing decent. We're on the top page. We're not on the bottom anymore, so hey, good. That's progress.
That is progress. That's very good. It's looking pretty good for you guys at the moment, I must admit, because the table is just so tight, especially from 10th place up, and maybe it's even lower at this point. So yeah, it's looking all right for you guys, I guess. 10th place, I don't think 10th place really, obviously we'll get into it later, but I don't think it really is an indictment of how you guys play at the moment, because I think your form has progressed and it has picked up a little bit. So as I say, the table is just so close that it's hard to judge this year. Everyone in the comments like, well, Kendall isn't happy. No guys, I'm not happy. There's been lots of drama going on at Newcastle today, but this is why I like doing this show, because it leaves me to not talk about Newcastle, because no one really cares about Newcastle, so, apart from me and Newcastle fans. So it allows me not to talk about Newcastle on this show, which is what we're not going to do. So first of all, I've just got a little bit of a kind of a guess who for everybody in the comments. Want to see if everybody gets it. I love doing these when I'm bored. I always go on, there's like a quiz app called like Sporkle or whatever, and you go on and guess how many, guess the top scorers from a certain season. So I always love doing that. So I thought, we'll kick off the show with a little one of those. I've got a couple of facts about a player, and I want everybody in the comments to see if they know who it is. I think this one's pretty easy, from my opinion. If it goes well, I'm gonna make them harder each week. So here we go. I've got 3 facts for you, and I want everybody in the comments to guess the player. Shout out to Shal, by the way. Get well soon. She's just had her wisdom teeth out, so she says she's looking like Alvin and the Chipmunks right now. But thank you still for tuning in, Shal, and we miss you, and we'll see you next week, obviously. Okay, so let's go. So he originally started out as a goalkeeper in his career before moving to an outfield player. He's won 4 Premier League titles, and his nickname is Merlin. So I want everybody in the comments to see if they know who that is, and see if you can guess. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know any of that, but when I searched it, it was pretty obvious. So we will see. No, I'm not wearing a kit today because I always get hate for it. So we're not wearing kits today. We're going to ignore that from now on. Okay, guys, because the kit police and the shirt police always come out in force. So we're not doing that today. Okay, so let's get into the main part of the video. The stream. So I used to doing pre-recorded things. Let's get into the main part of the news. Obviously, the title of the stream today, and that is the new transfer news that broke today. Well, transfer news, transfer rumours, gossip, however you want to call it. If it's even, very true, because we've heard a lot of wild stories the past few months. That Haaland, obviously from Dortmund, and Mbappe are Man United's main targets for the summer. Now, to me, that's very strange, because firstly, aside from the fact that I feel like Man United need to, cut their grass elsewhere, in terms of they probably need a centre-back, they probably need a CDM. I feel like it's just wild, because to me, Chelsea are in for Haaland as well. and Sancho, who was another major target for Man United last summer and has continued to be over the course of this season. As well as the fact that Liverpool are also interested in Mbappe. And I know a lot of people will probably be like, oh, you know, Liverpool are never going to get Mbappe. But there is links there with, obviously, you know, Nike, with, I saw someone in the comments earlier saying that apparently Mbappe and LeBron James are friends, and whether or not that has any hold in whatsoever over transfer, I don't know. And also the fact that Klopp and Mbappe apparently have a relatively personal relationship, like they're quite friendly. You know, Klopp's tried to lure Mbappe to the club in the past. And also the fact that Chelsea are obviously involved in both, and City. So it just seems wild to me. I don't know what you guys think. It just seems a bit strange to me, because I feel like they should focus elsewhere, because I just don't feel like those targets are going to come off, especially when we know in the past. I mean, ignoring Harry Maguire and, you know, Paul Pogba, etc., etc. Man United aren't known for spending huge amounts of money in one go. And Haaland's obviously going to be 100 million plus. I mean, I don't know at this time what his current market value is, or what even if he's got an elite clause, a release clause, or anything like that. So we'll see. But Jess, what do you think? Do you think this is going to come off?
No, I don't. You can be interested in players all you want, but ultimately it's financially, can you afford them, and can you attract them to the club and to the project? And, you know, I know that Ollie, I think at a certain point felt like he did have an upper hand on Haaland because of their connection and knowing his father and all that kind of stuff. But he wasn't convinced then, and I don't think he'd be convinced now by Ollie in that particular project, because although they have quality, we don't know what direction Manchester United is really going in right now. And I think his dad is smart enough to lead him in the right direction. You know, he chose to go to Dortmund instead of going to Manchester United. So we know that they have a plan. And for me, I would think that because Manchester City really needs a striker, I know that they want to play with a false nine, but if that doesn't go well, you need a backup plan. So I wouldn't be surprised if they were really in for him. And then there's also the spending power of Chelsea. So if I'm Haaland and I'm looking at it, and I'm looking at all three projects, I'd probably choose one of City or Chelsea, to be honest. You know, and in regards to Mbappe, I just don't see him in the Premier League, to be honest, period. Okay. You know, so I don't see that as a thing. You can be linked like all you
Real
want.
Madrid,
but
or maybe Barcelona is his next.
Yeah, I see him more either staying at PSG or maybe like going to Real Madrid or something like that. I just don't see him in the Premier League. I think he's a world superstar type of player. I don't think he needs to come to the Premier League for any reason. Okay. So I don't see it. I think Manchester United needs to focus on getting a CDM and a center back and a right winger that is more similar to Sancho if it's not Sancho. I think they were on the right path with that. So let's not get distracted because these are the two hot commodities. You're not getting either of them. Sorry.
Yeah. Do you think that maybe they should go for Sancho? I
do.
I don't even know if Sancho's even on their targets, because obviously this news today, kind of, they're not going to go and get Haaland and Sancho from Dortmund. Like, I mean, it's not feasible. So clearly, if Haaland's their main target, which in my opinion is probably a little bit stupid. I mean, I'm not a football owner or a football club owner, so maybe it's not stupid from their point of view, but from mine, it kind of is. Do you think they should go for Sancho instead? Do you think they should stick with their main target?
They were on the right track. Like, they need a right winger. If we're looking at if you want to look at offensive targets, that's who you should go for, because he fits with what I think Ollie is going for, which is like young British talent. You know, and Sancho would fit that. But when you start talking about the Haalands and the Mbappes, I think there's more competition there, and there's better projects for them to be a part of, and they're not stupid, you know. So I don't see it. And like you said, they need to build from the back. They need a center back and a CDM. So I don't really know what this is all about, but I don't think they're going to get them personally.
Yeah, I don't either. Just shout out to Zion here for the super chat. We saw my Midnight Vibes as well the other night, so thank you, Zion, for consistently tuning in to shows on the terrace. Big up to you, ladies. Mad respect for you all. massive W against Liverpool last night, and Haaland or Mbappe ain't joining United. They don't have the funds to get either one of them. What they need is a centre-back that can defend. Yes, he's a Chelsea fan. I remembered about that. So, yeah, I mean, exactly. We've just touched on the fact that they need a centre-back probably first. I mean, I don't know who they're going to get rid of. That's, depends on outgoings and things like that. So we'll see. But, yeah, I completely agree. In terms of needing a centre-back. What about you, Beth? Do you think that this is the right avenue for Man United, if you will? Do you think this is where they should go? Or do you think that there's probably Sancho was, as Jess said, was on the right track there with Sancho?
Yeah, I think Sancho is probably more feasible, to be honest, as well, than the other two. But I can kind of see why they're doing it, because I think they're out of their forwards. You've got Cavani, who probably isn't going to stay there much longer than this season. And then you've got, Martial, no comment. Rashford is okay, but he's a bit
I once
inconsistent.
compared Martial to Joe Linton and got so much hate on Twitter. But at the time, sorry everyone, but at the time their stats were very similar, I must admit. Sorry, go on.
I'm not going to elaborate. Someone can just imagine what I'm trying to say. But I can see why they'd be thinking of a striker, but I think they'd be suited to getting someone more like Calvert-Lewin from Everton, something like that. Going for Erling Haaland or Mbappe. I don't see Mbappe in the Premier League either, like you guys. If I was Erling Haaland, though, I would go to Man City, I think. Now, as a Chelsea fan, obviously I want him, but Chelsea have a bit of a reputation for ruining players, and I really don't want to be the club that ruins
Torres, like my favourite player ever, who I just love my life. Torres just... Yeah, Werner, maybe you could argue. Who else have ruined in the past?
Yeah, exactly. If I was Erling Haaland, I wouldn't want to ruin my career like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. As well, obviously, Man City were in talk. I mean, I don't know if they were in talks, but there was a lot of rumours around Man City getting Messi, possibly. In the summer with the whole deal at Barcelona. So I really do think that this summer transfer window is going to be wild. Like, I think we're just going to see like absolute madness. Do you know what? I've said that now, and I've probably completely ruined it, and there'll just be no one. It'll be just something random, like, I don't know, like Ashley Barnes to West Brom or something random. Which, that's not really the most riveting transfer news ever. But yeah, obviously in the comments, I just want to get everyone's opinions. If whichever club you support, would you rather have Haaland, Mbappe, I was going to say Mbappe or Sancho at your club? Everyone in the comments, just say who you support and let me know who you would rather have. I'm going to ask you girls the same question. I'm not going to answer it because it's highly unlikely we're ever going to get any of them players. And plus, Steve Bruce would have Mbappe playing at right back, so we're not going to go into that. But who would you rather sign, Jess, if it was you? Out of those, which do you think would fit you guys best?
It's such one of those questions where it's like, why would I even dream like this? Why would I hurt myself this way? I mean, I guess I would go for Mbappe just because I like him more. And I think that we could use another player that kind of comes off of the left and plays kind of like a winger forward style. I don't think we need a center forward because we have Aubameyang. So, and Sancho is not needed because we have the great and wonderful Saka. So,
yeah,
that's what I would go with.
That's true. Who has become so vital for you guys. I know we touched on this last week, but yeah, he's become so vital for you guys. Beth, who I know obviously you were in for probably Haaland and possibly Sancho. So out of the two, and I mean you might even want Mbappe, but out of the two, which one would you rather have at Chelsea?
Oh, no, hands down, Eric Haaland. I would have him. I just want to make my point. He's he's like a different breed of a footballer. He's insane. I would pay any money for him easily. And I think him and Werner could have a really good partnership because Werner sort of plays better when he's got another big man to play off. I was kind of saying it's like he needs someone that's there to put the ball in the net for him. And he's meant to be a striker, but you can kind of see it in the way he plays. So Haaland hands down. But I just, again, big money signings at Chelsea, like especially strikers, I'm a bit tentative about it.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, honestly though, Haaland's like, I'm sure he's like some form of like inhuman like robot thing. So I think he'll be fine. He'll be programmed not to fail. You'll be all right.
Okay.
I don't know if it's Mike or John on the Blue Boys Network, but he says Mbappe. They are Everton fans, so you never know. Carlo Ancelotti might have some, cheeky pull there to get Mbappe to Everton. But thank you for the super chat as well. And also we've got Quarterly Awesome here. Haaland will be the next Bayern striker. I did think that to myself, obviously, that, Bayern are quite known for taking Dortmund's best players, which they have a lot of times in the past. So that would not surprise me. What? Sorry, Beth, what were you saying?
We still have Lewandowski though, so do they need him? Like, that's really greedy.
They care. I don't think they care. They're just like, let's just take every good player that they ever have. Like, let's just take them. I don't, honestly, sometimes I feel like the Bundesliga is just not real. Like, how can you allow your like closest rivals to continually take all of your best players? Like, it's just wild to me, completely wild. But yeah, I do think Bayern's probably a possible avenue for Haaland to go there as well. So we're getting a lot of comments saying that they'd have Haaland at the club. Man City all over it. Yeah, I agree. Man City is probably a likely destination. We've got another super chat here as well. Man United needs a full restructuring. We have hired flop coaching staff. We had to strain our young players by putting them in the deep end, i.e. Twanzebe. Yeah, the whole, obviously a couple of, was it in the Champions League or the Europa League when it might even be in the Premier League when they put him on for like 2 minutes, and like just a couple of days after he received like so much racial abuse online and things like that, and there was so much outcry towards that, and obviously there is now the news is regarding Fosu Mensah, who is now out for like the rest of the season. He's picked up an ACL at Leverkusen, so I mean, I don't know the ins and outs of that at Man United. As I say, I don't follow that club deep in, deep out, so I don't really know. But yeah, you're probably right. And as I say, I think it's just highly unlikely that that is going to be Haaland or Mbappe, especially because I agree. I don't think I can see Mbappe in the Premier League. Well, definitely not right now or in the near future for the next few years anyway. I feel like Real Madrid is it seems like the next step for him, if that makes sense. I don't know why that is, but I just feel like he's just that type of player. As you say, Jess, he's like a world superstar. Like, I just feel like that's just the next natural step for him. So we will see. And we've got another super chat there from Zion as well. Thank you everyone for the super chats, by the way. It's really, really nice of you guys. They need to get rid of that fridge that they paid 80 million for. Look, they're going to have to cut their losses on Maguire because they're never, ever going to get or recoup that money, are they, for Maguire? They're never going to recoup 80 million for Maguire.
They just need to find somebody for him to play with. That's really what it is, right? He needs a partner to compensate for his lacking, inability. That's really what it is.
I agree, and obviously I don't think Lindelof's the answer. Baye's probably not the answer either. So I mean, that's what I mean. They need to go for a centre back. Any Man United fans watching right now, pop in the comments who you would go for if you were Man United as in terms of a centre back. Let us know, because I mean, I really don't know who you could really go for now. Sorry, I'll just continue this super chat. Haaland is generational talent, and Mbappe is just a ready-to-go talent that can thrive in any team in the world. Haaland is a must for Chelsea in the summer. Obviously, you're biased, Zion. You're going to say that because you are a Chelsea fan, but I really can I can see that happening. I can see Roman digging in deep to get Haaland, but Beth says you don't want to ruin him, so we'll see. But I'd love to see Haaland in the Prem. I'd love to see obviously Sancho come back to England, and because I really do rate Sancho, and I just like the vibe that they give like in the current England squad. Like, I just think they're like current, they're like upcoming talent, and they're always fun. I always watch YouTube videos where like him and Reece Nelson, for example, will do like a little get to know me thing, or like like true or false kind of thing. That I just love it. I enjoy it. Be happy Roman back us, Beth. Roman wants Haaland. There you go. It might happen.
I'm in, but I'm skeptical about how it's going to go.
Might we see Haaland at Chelsea? Well, we don't know. Might be Man United, might be Chelsea, might be City. We don't know at this point. Ethan here says Kunde. I think that's obviously towards the Man United. United need Dunk. Wow. Lewis Dunk from Brighton. Really? Is that
he's like 28 years old. You already have Dunk. You have Maguire. Like, you don't need another. You need
younger Dunk.
Come on, you guys.
Yeah, I mean, Lewis Dunk would not be my first choice, I'm not going to lie, but then again, I'm not a Man United fan. I would probably have him at Newcastle. Upamecano, yeah, already signed for Bayern, so he's off the table as well, which was probably a major target for Man United, I guess. A major Premier League target, if you will. So we will see.
Yeah.
Daniel's agreeing with you, Beth, here. He said Beth, the number 9 shirt is a curse for strikers. Shevchenko, Morata and Torres. Oh, God, Shevchenko, what a throwback, by the way. What a throwback. What a player as well. And then we have Varane incoming here, which, again, possible. I really thought that Man United may go for Ramos, for example. That's who I thought. But I don't know if he's just signed a new deal or he is currently about to sign a new deal. So obviously at Real Madrid. So we will see. Anyways, everyone's just telling me that my team's going to be in the Championship next year. They probably are, so that's fine. That's okay. I can deal with it. It's okay. I can deal with it. I've come to terms with it now, guys. It's like just watching it happen now. Anyways, let's go into the week's football action. I've got obviously Chelsea written down here first because that was the big game of the week, midweek, if you will. And obviously mine and Jess's clubs didn't play. Probably a good thing. So, yeah. How did you think the game went, Beth? Because obviously it was only 1-0. I do feel like you guys would probably think that it was. Oh, I'm just going to add Eleanor to the stream. Hi, Eleanor. Hello. Sorry, we're just on Chelsea-Liverpool at this current time. I'll ask you, though, before we go on to Chelsea-Liverpool, if you could have any one of the 3 at your club, Sancho, Haaland or Mbappe, who would you have?
Oh, that's a really hard question. I've come in on something so hard. Oh, that is a great question. I mean, I'm literally just sitting there thinking Mbappe and Haaland. Apologies, Sancho. But I'm gonna go with. I'm going to go Haaland because I feel like his ceiling is so high. And if we had to get rid of Kane to like a City, Haaland would be the only like replacement, I would say. But I love Mbappe too. Oh.
Yeah,
but I just really like it. Yeah. But yeah, I'll say Haaland. That's a hard question. I know I'll regret it. You know when you're thinking about it after and you're like, oh, have I said the wrong thing? Like when you order something in a restaurant and you see someone else's food and you're like, have I ordered the right thing?
Oh, yeah, what I said. Honestly, like, I couldn't even answer it. I didn't answer it because what is the point? That's just never going to happen to me. Remember in the summer when the whole Newcastle takeover was going to happen and everyone was like, oh, Mbappe to Newcastle. Like,
oh my gosh, yeah.
Yeah, look how far we've fallen. We're now like 17th in the league. Okay, let's move on from that. Obviously, coming back to Chelsea and Liverpool, Beth, obviously it was only 1-0. Should have really been 2-0. In your opinion, do you think that offside was harsh? Because I do. Obviously, I know rules are rules, but do you think that offside was harsh?
Yeah, I think any of the offsides that have been given this season for that reason are harsh. Like, it's not just that one.
Yeah, well, we saw about a couple of days before with Laporte, didn't we? Laporte
Exactly.
from Man City was like pretty much exactly the same.
And it's annoying because, like, obviously the defender's leaning this way to sort of run in the other direction, and the forward's leaning that way to go in one direction. So, of course, his top body is going to be, like, slightly more forward, which makes him offside. And it's one of them irritating ones because you want to see goals, don't you? Obviously, I really wanted to see us beat Liverpool 2-0. That would have been even better than beating them 1-0. But
yeah,
it was a good game. Tuchel got it really right, I think, with his tactics yesterday. So
which he seemed to do a lot. Pretty much most games that he's played, he seemed to be tactically setting up correctly, which is, what he's known for, I guess. So yeah, absolutely right. Yeah, definitely. I'm going to just obviously move on to VAR because it's probably something that's affected all of us here as fans, just in terms of our clubs. It's affected our clubs in good ways, it's affected our clubs in bad ways. I just all know that KJ and other people on the terrace call Arsenal, they're wearing their tinfoil hats because they believe that there's like referee corruption towards them. But Igal, just shout out Igal, he posted a graphic on Twitter earlier today, another Arsenal fan, and he posted every decision. I don't know if it was penalties. I think it was penalties, directed towards penalties that were given. Yeah, how many that were given for a team and how many were given against a team. And Arsenal pretty much mid both of the tables, which, when you're shouting about corruption, you think, oh God, they must, like, really bad things must happen to them all the time. But they were mid-table. I can't get the graphic up right now, but I'm sure someone will let me know in terms of how, penalties were given towards. But VAR, bringing me back to VAR, I don't think VAR is the problem. I think if it's used correctly, I feel like it could be a really, really decent addition to the game. Obviously, as we've seen in Australia, for example, where every decision is on a mic, so we all know why the referee's going that way, why he's making that decision, and how he's come to that decision. But for me, it's the officiating in this country is, in my opinion, so poor. It's just not good enough. I mean, it goes to show when you're in kind of Europa League or Champions League, especially, you don't get many English referees like officiating a Champions League game, and when that is like you're meant to be top of the top level, and you think that you play in the best league in the world, surely the officiating should reflect that. So obviously I'm just going to ask you guys as well if you agree or if you think that, you know, we should just scrap VAR. Elena, what do you think?
Sorry. Yeah, I think VAR isn't the issue, as you said. VAR for me is an action replay. That's literally all VAR is. It's a replay. It's the way we use it. There are in other countries it works a lot better than the way it works for us. I feel like for us, we spend too long. There's such a grey area with, you know, some teams get certain decisions, some teams don't. Some things look worse for certain teams, some things look all right for certain teams. I mean, the handball yesterday for us against us, even though it was in our favour, was shocking for me, considering that you've had handballs with like Trent's arm all the way out here and that wasn't given. It just seems that if you're going to do it, be consistent. I think it's consistency more than anything, because they're not consistent with their decisions. It seems like, you know, VAR is the issue, but it's just the officials that are not being consistent in the way that they need to look at other games and say, okay, that's what we gave that time. Either make a statement, say we're not going to give that again, or, you know, be consistent and give it again. Like, it just seems like there is subconscious bias to me, but, you know, that could be me just being, you know, tinfoil hat on and that.
Well, you obviously will focus on your club the most. Do you know what I mean? Like you'll obviously realise what's happening at your club everywhere else, and you won't really be taking into account everybody else's decisions for and against. So that's why you guys will obviously think that, you know, I mean, us, for example, we always used to say we never used to get penalties, which it was true at the time. I mean, I think it was last season, Man United had as many penalties in one season as we had in 5 years.
That's insane.
So I think you do focus on your club. So yeah, I do agree with you. Obviously, you'll only focus on your club,
Yeah, and I feel like, for example, like some things are such a grey area, which they shouldn't be. You should be able to like tell, okay, that's going to be given, even if it's a horrible rule. You should be able to say that's going to be given horribly.
Yeah,
but that is just not.
The rules should be clear, because I mean they're even having to. Is it the handball rule now that they've kind of had to reiterate, and they've had to change the guidelines around? I mean, if you're having to change guidelines around a rule that you've introduced in the last year, that obviously tells me that you haven't introduced it properly. You haven't done your research properly before you've introduced it and
given
introduced
the officials
it in the
right
correct
guidance.
way.
The officials as well, I think, are a bit baffled on what they're doing. Do I give this? Do I not? There's such a backlash after every VAR decision, but I feel like the whole FA haven't dealt with it very well. And I think that's the main issue for me. But I can understand people saying it's good because, I mean, there are certain decisions where it's like, I'm glad VAR was there because that is, you know, of course, the right thing. But I think generally it is going to have fans upset because things are not as, you know, there's black and white now. But the problem is that it's not for me. It's not black and white. There's still such iffy. Absolutely. Oh, is that going to be given? Is it not? I should be able to see and say, the rule's terrible, but that's going to be given, and it's not like that.
Yeah, 100%. Jess, in terms of you, obviously, I know you're obviously based in the USA. Is it used? Is, you know, video assistant referee used in the USA at all? And if it is it used better than you see it in the Premier League?
I don't even know because I don't watch the MLS like that.
Okay.
They could have it, but I would think that we would have it. But the ultimately it's everything that you guys already said.
Yeah.
It's just not, it wasn't rolled out properly. I don't think the referees were trained on it properly. And it's the people that are running it that are the problem. I mean, like Ellen already pretty much said, it's an instant replay, and it's just there for you to be able to get a closer look at things that you may have not been able to see before. And it's with no fans and VAR, this season has been feels a little sterile. It feels a little like the life is sucked out of it. And I just think that, good idea, bad execution. And they should try to fix it, because I think VAR is a good tool when it's used correctly, but obviously the English refs are not using it correctly, and maybe they should just look, at other leagues and just see what they're doing. But I think the unconscious biases and, thoughts about certain players and, I think even the referees, they don't like having VAR check behind them because it makes them look incompetent. So you're now seeing refs not even making the call and just letting VAR make it, and then VAR will make the like an opposite call, and the referee, you can tell they're like, well, this is going to make me look stupid. So if it's VAR versus the refs and the refs versus the clubs, then everything is just, it's not working for the greater good of the game. And I just think it's been a nightmare, to be honest.
Just to add to that, I just wanted to say it's just 100% spot on, because I always say, when they go to VAR's going to check that ref decision on a penalty, they're not going to overturn the ref a lot because they don't want to make them look stupid, or the ref doesn't want to look stupid. So I always say, unless it's clean cut that they've got it wrong, they won't overturn the ref due to not wanting them to look stupid.
Clear obvious error is what it was meant to be used for in the first place, and it's not. It's being used for millimeter and hair lines. Like, it's so ridiculous. And I do agree, because I think it gives the referees as well a little bit of an excuse, because they can kind of blame VAR. Like, they'd be like, oh, well, this is what I saw, and this is what I was told, in a sense of, no, you just can't referee. I feel like I just have an agenda against referees in this country, but I don't. It's just what I see on a daily basis.
For someone that watches a lot of, Atletico and stuff, you must see such better officiating over there.
Yeah, completely different officiating. A lot of the La Liga refs, are pretty decent. I mean, a lot of European referees in general are very decent referees. It's just English just making us look bad. Shout out to Zion again for another super chat. Thank you so much. Man like Mason Mount showing his talent to everyone. Tuchel schooled Klopp. The backline had Liverpool's front three in their pockets. Top four now. Taking that number 2 spot from United. Big up to the ladies once again. That is a big shout, but it's not an unreasonable shout in the way that obviously Man United's form have dipped lately. What do you think, Beth? Do you think that you could get top 2? I mean, even if it's not top 2, do you think you could definitely get top 4? Because I do.
Yeah, I think it is a possibility. I do. It depends on Man United. I think Man United have every sort of tool to pull it out the bag if they really want to, but sometimes they're too scared to really go for it in games. Like when we played them at the weekend, I'm pretty sure they were just playing for that draw anyway. Like they didn't make any sort of effort to go for it.
I honestly felt like they wanted to lose at one point. I was like, why are you doing this? Like, why?
And they were kind of lucky that we haven't quite figured out how to get our forwards going yet, because otherwise they probably would have had a problem. But I think they can pull it out the bag if they need to. Like, they've got Fernandes. He has individual moments of brilliance, like purely. So it just depends on what they do. It's very possible though, because they've got Man City up next, and that's obviously going to be a problem. And we've got Everton. That's not an easy game for us. We constantly flop against Everton, but I'm actually quite confident in Tuchel now. So it's just going to be tight until the end, though, isn't it? There's so little between everyone now.
Yeah. Honestly, as I said earlier in the show, from 10th upwards is like stupidly close. Like, I think I wrote down somewhere that like Arsenal and I think maybe top 4, like 4th position, there's like 10 points between them, which
7. If we win our game against Burnley, it'll be 7.
Okay, so 7. Yeah. So obviously, if you guys win in the first kickoff tomorrow, it'll only be 7. So it's just so close.
Can I just say one thing about Chelsea though? Like, I think I told Charlotte to be patient with Tuchel. It was gonna happen. Like, you have too much quality, like not to improve. Like, when you have quality, it will shine through. But the only thing you guys have to look forward to is you're an unknown quantity. And then once people start to figure out what Tuchel is all about, it'll get difficult again. But again, by that time, it'll be next season. You'll have new players and it'll just start all over again. So I think Chelsea is in a good position to really move forward. I think second place is well within. Leicester is going to drop off tremendously. You can already tell that they're not they're not equipped, you know, so I would be shocked if Chelsea doesn't make it to at least to second place, because that's pretty much where you guys are.
I'll be shocked, but I guess obviously in the whole Lampard era, you guys probably didn't think you were going to be anywhere near that.
He just lacked tactics. He had no tactical anything whatsoever.
Keep the ball as well. Like, we could never keep the ball. We can never win it back. I mean, there was a point when we were doing really well, and it just flopped after that. So I don't know. But I'm very optimistic now. And the thing about Tuchel is he's very good. He's a very good tactician as well. So if he starts to get figured out, he's got everything like that is capable to change up the formation as well, because that's what he's done at other clubs. And like, if you take like Jose Mourinho for an example, sorry, Eleanor, but you know exactly what kind of football he's going to play. Like, it's sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, you guys have got Everton at the weekend, who are only 1 point behind you. I think are you only 3 points away from third as well at this point? I can't remember the table now, but yeah, you could be. So, this is an important game if you want to keep pushing on. And the way your form is at the minute, to be fair, the way Everton's form is at the moment, I think it could be pretty interesting. Obviously, Don Carlo coming back to his old stomping ground. How do you think the game's going to go, Beth? Are you confident, or do you think it's going to be an actually interesting game? Because I do. I think it's going to be quite exciting.
I think it'll be interesting. I think Everton have some really great players at the moment. Carlo's a really great manager, but they have been inconsistent. So I think it's going to be hard for them, because we're very hard to score against at the moment. But I think it's going to be an interesting game. I can't really call it from right now. I want to stay confident about it now, because I've seen enough from Tuchel to feel that way. But unless you're Man City, you can't win every game. So I don't know how it's going to go.
That's very true. That's very true. So yeah, we're gonna touch on a little bit of a sensitive subject to all of the Liverpool fans in the comments and who watched the show. Just based on Klopp, because obviously the defeat against Chelsea was the first time that Liverpool have lost 5 games in obviously 5 games at Anfield in their history, which is crazy to me. Like, the club is obviously probably over 100 years old, so that is just so mad to me. Is he finished? Is Klopp finished? Do you think he's finished, Jess?
This is just so reactionary. I just can't. I really can't. You guys, come on. Like, he's not.
He's finished.
He's not finished. He's not finished. It's just, this is the Klopp way. He has a very small squad. He runs their legs off, and it's time to regenerate. Like, it's time to bring in new players. Like, that's just what Klopp does. He did it at Dortmund. He's going to do it here. The only way that Klopp leaves, I think, is if he wants to. He may want to leave at the end of the season, but is he finished? That's a little I mean, he just won the Champions League and the league last season. How are you finished that quick?
I don't think he's finished.
Super reactionary for me.
Yeah,
you know,
a lot
I don't
of
think
Liverpool
so.
fans calling for him out. A lot of rival fans saying, like, you know, Klopp is done here. Like, he cannot like continue after this. And it's just that's wild to me. Like, yes, it might be the first time something's happened in your history, but I'm going to bring the whole injury situation up. You have had, you know, severe first team injuries. Obviously, Henderson's out as well, who was, you know, carrying your back line again. Kabak has not come in and, you know, lit up the league by any means. It's going to take him a little bit of time to adjust in a time where you don't have time to adjust. You know, you need to fit in and you need to do a good job. And, you know, at this current time, and you don't want to be falling any further down the table. So, yeah.
Can I say this too, though, just really quick, is that, like, Klopp and Liverpool have no right to be where they are anyway. Like, the amount of money that Man City and Chelsea spend versus Liverpool should show you what kind of coach he is. I mean, we're talking about Wijnaldum, who is on, I think, Newcastle. Hull was Andy Robertson's team. Like, Trent Alexander-Arnold is from their academy. You know, Mane from Southampton. Like, Salah was a Chelsea reject. They have no right to be where they are based on how much the other teams in the Premier League spend, you know, and they became world-class players when they got there. They weren't world-class players when they brought them in, besides Alisson and Virgil van Dijk. Yeah. So he's not finished. Just calm down. it's gonna be all right. Like, it's gonna be fine. Like, it's gonna be fine.
Yeah, I think they'll be absolutely fine. Yeah, obviously Zion agrees with you, Beth. He thinks top 2 is possible and you can get it comfortably. He's probably got a little more confidence than other people. But there's no harm in confidence. Ollie ain't getting anything here, man. Can't even get a trophy in his time as Man United coach. And we all know man likes to bottle it in the big games. Can't handle pressure like always. Well, we know Ollie's a bottler in the semi-finals of stuff. So you could be onto something there, Zion. But thank you again for the super chat. We'll obviously come on to Man United later with the big game that's happening. Jess, it's your turn. Obviously, I know you didn't play necessarily midweek, but we haven't spoke about the weekend's games before because, we film this on a Friday. Really good win against Leicester, 3-1, which was amazing. I don't know if, you expected it. I don't know if anybody else expected it with just the way things are at the moment, but your form has picked up hugely, in my opinion. The way you play, the way other players have settled in has picked up really, really well. And as we've already mentioned, you're really not far off. Top 8 even, top 6, you're not far off. So how did you feel the game went? Were you really, really happy at how you played? Were you happy at how you set up? Because I saw a lot of people moaning about Arteta's lineup prior to the game, and he proved obviously a lot of people wrong. So how do you feel like it went?
It went the way that Arteta expected it to go. This isn't the first time that we played the rotated squad per se. This is just the first time that it's worked out. I don't know what was going on with Willian, but he's finally showed up to work. So thank you for showing up. I just think that it was a combination of us just being on and being the fresher team. And Leicester is obviously really, really tired. So we were able to take advantage of that, which is something that we wouldn't have been able to do in the past. We had a really shaky start. We let them score within the first 6 minutes, but after that, we dominated them. Pepe had that young Luke Thomas on skates. That guy was dead and had to be taken out at halftime. So I think if you don't watch us or you just hate us, you're going to think that we're just crap, but we're actually not. We're a good side. We just had a really bad run and we're in transition. We're rebuilding. And for Arteta to be a brand new coach in his first job and to be kind of right behind some bigger coaches, you would expect us to be lower than the rest of you guys, So if you watch the way that we play good football. We still have the 3rd best defense in the league. We're pretty good now that we score goals,
Yeah.
I'm happy, I think but if we don't beat Burnley, I'm not coming next week. I'm saying all this, but we better beat Burnley.
Is it like a bogey team for you guys? I know Chelsea fans in the past were like Newcastle's a bogey team for them. Just certain things. Is it a bogey team for you guys? Is it something where you're going,
Not in particular. I think Sean Dyche he's kind of gotten into their players' minds that we're kind of soft, but we're not as soft as we used to be. And I expect us to beat them. They beat us last time, but I've never seen an Arsenal team play as bad as we did in that run right before, Boxing Day, so I expect us to beat them. If we don't, like I said, I won't show my face, but we should beat them. We should beat them, but you never know.
I show my face on all the stupid streams I do for every time we lose, pretty much every week. So you're forced. Obviously there's been news the past couple of days as well about Balogun leaving. I know that not you in particular, but Arteta seems to, I don't know if he's gone to the young players for necessity because he had to, and he had to rotate the squad because at the time some of the senior players weren't performing, but it has turned out to be a great move. Obviously Saka has Comey's just been phenomenal for you guys this season, so good. Emile Smith-Rowe, another one. A couple of youngsters you let out on loan. So obviously Joe Willett came to us. Maitland-Niles went to West Brom. Would you like to see him stay, or do you think you're not really bothered? Do you think it's all right for him to leave? Because I don't know if it's a gal, but I know a couple of Arsenal fans that I know really rate Balogun and really would like to see him take part in the team. What are your thoughts on it?
I would like to ask some of these Arsenal fans how many times they've seen this kid play. He's played in the academy. A lot of kids look really good in the academy. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to transfer into, into the first team. I would like to see him get time, but I also don't care, because it just is what it is. If you don't have the patience to work yourself into the first team, then you shouldn't be here. And I don't think that Arsenal should be held hostage by a 19-year-old. I think his agent is just trying to take advantage because he knows that there's some wages to be had with bigger players leaving. They understand that there's something to be had there, but it's not a big deal. We have Martinelli, we have Aubameyang. Like, I don't know what the big deal is. I think we're so afraid we're going to have another Gnabry situation, and everybody's not.
He's going to be amazing.
That's pretty much what the anxiety is about. But who cares? Like, he's 19.
Yeah, it's not going to be detrimental to you guys as like a unit if he leaves. So I just seen a little bit of a meltdown on Twitter earlier today.
Arsenal fans are key. Like, meltdown is our middle name, right? So if you see us melting down, it's Tuesday. Like, who cares?
The home of obviously the whole fan cam meltdown. Arsenal began with Arsenal, if you would argue with that. So yeah, that's fair enough. I mean, as I say, it's not going to be detrimental to you guys as a unit. You've got enough youngsters if that's the direction you want to, head in with the young players and get them to the first team. Yeah. You've got some really, really decent players then. There's no need to be, fretting about Balogun or, the next player. And I know it's your turn now. I'm not sure if it's a win, so it's not like you're going to be angry about a win.
No, I'm happy with the win. I just worry if we're going to approach games, if we're 1-0 up, I don't think that a second half approach is going to get us many wins in the future. I think we got lucky with the handball. I mean, yes, let's say it's a correct decision, a very weird one, whatever, but let's just say that's the rule, correct decision, fair enough. But it was still lucky that we didn't concede. We literally sat back and let them have the ball. I have been taking bullets all day for saying that we got lucky, and we actually did, so I don't know what the issue is.
Handball on goal, that is lucky, obviously. Like, and if you won 3-0 and you scored 2 goals, but I agree, it probably was lucky,
And it was like, for me, don't get me wrong, we could have been 3-0 up in the first half, but what my problem is with the whole Mourinho thing when we go up, we can't expect to get every job done in 45 minutes. This is what I worry, that I always want us to go more than 2-0, like more than 1-0 up, in the first half, because I get worried that, we're going to sit back and we're going to eventually concede a 1-0. So like I get really annoyed when Spurs fans are like, but it's a win, and I'm not discrediting the win. I'm happy with the win, but if we play like that more often than not, we won't get the win in the end. Because don't get me wrong, more often than not, Kane puts those chances away. That's fine, but let's say we are 1-0 up. Why not just go with the same approach that we had in the first half? Like against Palace, if we're 1-0 up, we can't just let them have the ball. I mean, I've heard Zaha's fit. If he's playing and they're just going to run at us, and they'll get a goal. Like, it will happen, and we'll end up drawing just like we did against Wolves. Against West Ham when we sat off a bit in the second half. Fulham, Palace away. So what I'm just saying, we do have chances, but then I can't expect every game to be done in 45 minutes. It's just not sustainable. It's not proper football. We all know sometimes it takes 89 minutes to score a goal or none. So if we just have first half where we score 1 goal and then we sit off, I don't think that's sustainable. But I'm very happy with the win, despite what everyone else thinks. I'm very happy with the win. I just think that I like to look at things as like a outsider's approach, as a pragmatic thing, like from a long-term perspective. If we keep holding on to 1-0 wins, we're not going to see wins like that very often, and it just seems like any team with a clinical edge will get through us. And yes, I know he's won playing like that before, but he's had very different teams to play like that before. We don't have the right team to sit on a 1-0. I felt like we played a lot better in the first half when we were all over them, even if we only had 1 shot on target, but we were controlled. We had the ball. We controlled that first half. The second half was a total different game, in my opinion, and I know it's a game of 2 halves. They might have pushed us back, but we could have just approached it in the same way. And I just worry that if we try and do that, we are going to concede, because the defense is awful. So just go for it a bit more. I'd love to see us play a 90 minutes the way we played 45 against Palace.
you want to keep that up that intensity a bit longer, because obviously then you'll enjoy it. You'll probably get more results. Obviously, I just want to touch on the fact that there was a front four of Bale, Dele Alli, Son, and Kane. Like, to me, that would be like, I would approach a game like that. If I was Jose Mourinho, I would look at those players, especially obviously the form that Bale picked up on recently, and Ali as well. Like, I would go with that. Like, why was there a reason why that didn't work, or was it just literally just the tactics were completely wrong in terms of you were waiting on them to come and attack the ball?
Do you know what? It's a hard one. Dele Alli's hardly started this season, so I don't know if he's ready to be like starting and playing. As much as I'd love him in the lineup, you know what? Like, I'm a fan in it. Like, I don't know everything, so maybe he's not fit enough to do that, and that's fair enough. My worry with Bale, literally, this was what I thought when the lineup came out. Very happy to see that front four, but Bale's had fitness issues, and to play 3 games in a row when we've barely got one good game out of him, and we got like 1/2 out of him, altogether, seems like it's a lot for him to be playing up to that standard every game. I'm glad he came off at 60 because I want him for Palace. But I do think that, it's a great lineup, but I think it just needs, slow minutes in. Maybe Dele needs to be a sub a bit more, and maybe Bale can't start every game.
But lead up to it rather than just being
because it just might be that he's just not ready, and I can understand that he's hardly played any football this season. Even Bale might have had a bit more time on the pitch as a starter than in cup games and stuff. Yes, Dele's played against lower league teams, but it's just not it's just not the same as playing a top team, and I just feel like Dele might need a bit of working into. I love him. I think even the goal, I know it was very unfortunate for it to be an own goal. I think it was a lovely little flick from him. Typical Dele goal, just Dele doing Dele things, really. But I think he does just need a bit of working into. Maybe he might come off a bit more. And that's pretty much that's pretty much all I think it is. I just think it just needs a bit of, that front four can be great. It just needs a bit of working, I think.
Yeah. Are you expecting a win against Palace at the weekend?
Yes. The funny thing is,
are you hoping to win? I guess, obviously, yeah.
But the funny thing is, I am. I think if we just play to our strengths and we play the way we can, I'm expecting we can win, even if we could be clinical. We could play we're at home, so we can. I think 3-1 we could do if we play to our strengths, because we do have a good attack. We've got Ndombele, Kane, Son, Bale, Dele if he plays. And it's a good attack, so I do think we can damage them. But I genuinely think that we need to play the way we did in that first half for the whole game, and I think we will win quite comfortably.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, you helped us out by beating Fulham, so maybe.
Oh yes, I forget that you're actually looking at that now, because I didn't actually think you would be.
I'm result watching. It's so tragic. But yeah, let's get into the big game just quickly before we end the stream. Because we're coming up to the hour mark. God, this show always just flies over. Like, I feel like it does.
Honestly.
It always just flies over. Obviously it's the big Manchester derby at the weekend, City and Man United. I mean, look, City are unstoppable right now. They're unstoppable. I don't really think it's going to be up to Man United to break them down. I really just think it's going to be a case of, do Man United play the low block? Do they sit back and just try and defend? Or maybe do they go at City? But the way City's defence are at the moment, they're just phenomenal. John Stones has had a resurrection. He's come back. He just went missing for ages, and he's come back, and he's so good right now, genuinely so good. Beth, I'm going to come to you. How do you see the game at the weekend going? Do you think it's just inevitable City win again, or do you think Man United can maybe do something?
Well, City don't always have the best record against Man United, but Man United are going to have to pull out something special to get a win, at least. If they play anything like they played in their last 3 games, they haven't got a chance. They're going to get eaten. They're going to get left for dead. No, they're not going to get anything out of it. They're going to have to actually turn up and want to play. If they play City like how they played us at the weekend, they're going to get destroyed, because City are way more clinical. Pep's just insane. Like they're inhuman. I don't know what he's done to them. 21 wins in a row. They're full of confidence. They're going to be more confident than anyone else.
Yeah.
So no, City are going to win it.
Yeah,
Because
it's been bad, especially the way Man United have played recently. Like that Palace game, Palace Man United was probably the worst game of football. And guys, obviously everybody knows who I watch. That was one of the worst games of football I've watched this season alone. It was so horrible. I watched the highlights like before Midnight Vibes of the night, and I was just thinking, how someone pulled 3 minutes highlights from that game?
Yeah.
It was just so bad. And obviously that's why it leaves me not to have much hope for Man United, because I just think obviously they don't play exciting football, like, let's be honest, but it's not about that. It's obviously about getting the result, and the attacking players for Man United are probably better, but I think Pogba's still out, and at this current time Pogba and Bruno have had such a good partnership, and they built form for Man United, and now one of them's not there, or either one of them's missing. Just the creativity is just completely gone. And yeah, I just think the City midfield is just absolutely going to destroy Man United. Jess, how do you think it's going to go? I think probably I'm just guessing the same way as everybody else, but how do you see it going?
Well, I don't think it's going to be I don't think Manchester United is going to get killed the way people think. I don't see a 3-0 or anything like that, but I definitely see Man City with the majority of the ball, controlling possession, Manchester United sitting back deep, trying to play on the counter and being unsuccessful. They're like, Bruno doesn't really show up for these types of games. We all kind of know he's Casper-like in the bigger games. So without him really connecting the defense to the offense, I don't see how they're going to be able to cope. And Ruben Diaz and John Stones and even Laporte are so confident. I just don't see it. So I would say, if I had to give a score prediction, I would say 2-0 Manchester City. Probably really close in the beginning, and Manchester City will just kind of, just take over in the second half, and it'll be over.
Yeah, I think it'll be good though, because as I've said, the big games this season, or the big games, if you will, have been so terrible, especially the derbies. Like, they've just not been like, the exciting derbies you want them to be. I mean, maybe Everton, Liverpool.
No fans. There's no fans.
Was an anomaly, because obviously that was 2-0. But yeah, you're right. The fans missing is such a vital part to the football experience. And I remember when a couple of weeks or months now, obviously, when Maya was hosting the show, she got her brother Jordan on, who is a footballer, and he said, like, it's just so, it feels like you're training because nobody's there to hype you up. Like, a lot of grounds, especially like Anfield, for example, I feel like the players have suffered so hugely with no fans there. Even also on a lower scale, I mean, not a lower scale in terms of Anfield, because I mean, our stadium holds 52,000, but even Newcastle have suffered in general, because there's another stadium what relies on like fan engagement and the hyping up of a game. So yeah, it's absolutely wild. I'm going to read the super chat out because it's going to bring up my next point, Eleanor, that you can probably add on to. Spurs and Arsenal dead food out here. That's not my point. He's a Chelsea fan though, so there you go.
Fair enough.
Linda will always remain blue. Question for all ladies: are Chelsea the closest to challenging City next season for the title if we do buy Haaland, a centre back, and a keeper, or will it be Liverpool? Well, I personally don't see it being Liverpool. I mean, what they're going to have to do some serious business. Yeah, if it's going to be them competing for the title. Ellen, do you think that's probably true? Because I can kind of see where he's coming from. I mean, even if they don't get Haaland and just add quality to the squad, I feel like they probably could.
Do you know what? I think that they did such good business this summer, and also, we know you're a Chelsea fan, but you did such good business in the summer, and I think that generally they just had as we've said, as Jess has said, they just had a poor coach, tactics were just not there. But if they start clicking, which I said from the beginning of the season, if Chelsea click, you will be title contenders, and that was this season. So next season, if you add even more quality to that, you can actually contend City for that title. Don't get me wrong, City look unstoppable right now, but I think you just clicked a bit late, and even now you're not, your goal scorers are not scoring goals as they should be. But if they start clicking and you actually start putting away some of the chances that you have, you will be right up there. And I think if you're still, I read somewhere that you are planning to back Tuchel in the summer, which is amazing. I think for you lot, it's incredible that you're planning on getting even more quality. That Tottenham, are you watching? That's what ambitious board is like. But anyway, not jealous or anything that we could have had Roman. But anyway, just saying. But yeah, I think that you lot have such good ambition that, and you know, you will click. And if you click, you will definitely be, you know, title contenders. I see you finishing, as we've all said before, finishing around second this season. Imagine challenging all season. You could just nick it. You know, Chelsea have the experience in that field. You know, you've won the league. You know, countless times. So you know, you've done it before. So you can do it again. And I think you can challenge them. You know, the games against them will be very detrimental next season for whoever wins the league, I feel. But yeah, if you're planning on backing them, we've got a proper coach now that can actually tactically do things with not just one system. I think you will definitely be up there, which is very painful to admit, but it seems very true.
Obviously, from a rival point of view, Jess, do you think that could happen? Do you think next season is going to be so crazy? I mean, considering the transfer rumours that are coming in left, right and centre from different places. And do you think, you know, Chelsea probably are the next likely close contenders to City? Or do you think it'll just be wide open, you know, depends what happens in the summer?
I mean, Chelsea, they're title contenders every 1 to 2 years. You know, they win and then rebuild and then come back, you know, so they're not back this season, but I think what they did in the transfer window was good enough for them to be a lot closer than they should be. So I would expect so, you know. I still think Manchester City is just the squad that they're building is just, it's insane. But I do think you guys will be in and around that. As an Arsenal fan, you know how I feel, Kendall. I don't care. We're rebuilding. Yeah. We're where we need to be, you know. So
more need to be like you. More need to be like realistic in terms.
It is
of, like,
what it is,
like,
you know.
Yeah, like Premier League stuff. Definitely more need to be realistic.
But I do think, Chelsea will be up there. Like I told Charlotte, like just be patient. It'll happen, and you already see it's clicking now, you know. And you're not even anywhere near where you should be because you can't. You're still not scoring enough goals. The goals will come, and that'll be it. You know, so yeah, Chelsea or Man City next season for sure. Manchester United don't have the right coach and they don't have the right structure above them, you know, to figure it out and to build the squad correctly. So it's just y'all two, really.
Absolutely. Again, shout out to Zion again for the super chat. I've just lost it. I'm going to find it again. Hold on. Final super chat and I'm out of here. Big up to everyone in the chat and big up the ladies for the wonderful stream. And big boy Roman Settings out here. We should get our tags in the summer to mount a challenge at least. I don't know if you meant that, Zion, but I mean, that's what I'm taking it as. I'm taking it as a little pun, you know. Mason Mount out here.
No, let David read that.
Yeah, David, if you're watching, I don't know if you are, but see that and come in with your Mason Mount slander, although he has taken it back. And if anyone's not caught the Midnight Vibes episode with Jess on it, she absolutely annihilated David at every turn. It was phenomenal. Honestly, we love Jess. David, honestly, I love him. He's like my little brother. Like, obviously, I've done so many shows with him now, Midnight Vibes, and I do love him. But his Mason Mount agenda stinks. And it actually, to be fair, he admitted yesterday that if Mason Mount continues on this run, his Mason Mount agenda's going to go away. He's going to like Mason Mount. He's even now following on Instagram.
I can't believe he doesn't like Mason Mount. I love Mason Mount. Like, I love watching him play. Like, he's so good. I think he's not overrated or underrated. He's just kind of where he needs to be. And like, you guys are so lucky to have him. Like, I love that kid so much. Like, he's so good.
He's amazing. Beth, do you like him? I mean, I'm going to say, do you like him? I'm assuming that you do. I'm assuming that you're more level-headed than every day.
I love him.
Yeah.
He works so hard. I think any team in like the league would be lucky to have him right now. And I'm laughing so hard. There's so many Chelsea fans that were like, Mason Mount, he's not going to start under any other manager. He's just Frank Lampard's son, blah, blah, blah. And it is so good seeing him play like every single game under Tuchel. Like, it's so good. You're like, I told you so, man. He works so hard for the team. I love it.
He's gone from being like, Mount is Lampard's son to like this like undeniable talent in a Tuchel team where if he wasn't that good, Tuchel wouldn't play him. Like, Tuchel's a world-class manager. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's like,
so I just...
don't get me wrong. Like, obviously he can improve in some aspects. Sometimes he like poor decision making, but he's still young. He's learning. There's so much potential for him, and I just think it's brilliant. he's been really consistent. So
Absolutely.
I can't.
Yeah. And obviously a lot of goals have come from Mount as well. I'm sorry, I'm literally dying at this chat. Kendall's lying on about David. Once Mount has a single turn into Latimer's obviously prime, saying I told you about Mount. That is so funny. I feel like maybe, are you behind the burner account, Sharik? Because I feel like you know David inside out like me too. Maybe you're behind David's burner account.
Oh my God, yeah.
He seems like he talks like him, so maybe
that burner account is always in my mentions.
A couple of people have random burner accounts made about them. A gal, KJ had a random OnlyFans account made of him. Not actual
hilarious.
OnlyFans, but like Twitter. David, just wildness. Yes, but we're come to the end of the stream now. Gone shorter than usual, which we've done really well. That's because I kept the games to a minimum, just relating to people who are on this panel, because not gonna lie, we talk a lot
to
on
Bobby,
this
by the
show.
way, because he watches me at All Leeds TV as well.
Big up,
and
Bobby.
super chats
Thanks, Bobby. Thank you for the
Thanks.
super chat. That is amazing. Thank you. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats tonight. Oops, I've clicked on that. Thank you, everybody, for the super chats tonight. Please make sure you like the video, share, subscribe to the Football Terrace. And yeah, just thank you everybody for tuning in as always. Obviously, girls, I'm going to do that thing that I do every single week. Going to get your ats up here so that everyone knows where to find you. Jess, first of all, where can we find you? What do you do on YouTube? Any streams? Let everybody know where they can obviously get you at.
Yeah, so again, you guys can follow me at It's Jacinho. It's right there on the screen, and I am the host of She Knows Arsenal. That was my show on YouTube. It's all about Arsenal, and we're actually going to be doing a instant reaction show after our game tomorrow. If you care about Arsenal, follow me there. I know that there's a lot of people in this chat that don't give a shit about Arsenal, so, but if not, I'll be on here sometimes. And then I have my other channel, Jacinho TV. So yep, that's where you'll find me.
Amazing. Beth, where can everybody find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter at KingKaiFC and on Instagram at _BethDXE. I do the Chelsea Ladies show on GNA TV every Friday at 8 p.m. Lots of fun. It was cancelled this Friday, unfortunately, but we'll be back next week. So, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, finally, Eleanor, obviously if you tune into the Terrace a lot, you will know Eleanor, but let everybody know if they don't know where to find you at Eleanor, please.
Yeah, you can follow me here on Twitter, LilyWhite_TV. I have my own channel. Content is coming. It's just I'm here all the time. I'm on the terrace at the moment, and we love it here. I have my own show. That Tottenham show is a Tottenham show, but we do kind of talk about the other teams a bit. We had a great guest on. We had Graham Roberts, which is a club legend, which was amazing. Just to hearing a player's insight on the game is incredible. So yeah, you can follow me at LilyWhite_TV, and subscribe to my channel. But make sure you're here, because you'll see me after most Spurs reactions ranting and just trying to hold up the fort. So
go and check Eleanor's Tottenham show. It's absolutely amazing. Great guest she gets on weekly. So good. Great panel, obviously, with Ryan and Tans and Tobes as well. Amazing. So yeah, definitely go and check everybody's streams out and everybody's channels. Obviously I'm Kendall. Obviously everybody knows that. I assume you do if you're watching this stream. You'll find me on Kendall Rowan at every single social that I have: YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. Obviously you'll also find me here every Friday at 9 p.m. with these girls, and obviously Shah will hopefully be back next week. You will find me on Midnight Vibes Wednesdays and Sundays. Pretty much my life spent on the terrace now. Eleanor will agree. If you want to find us, you'll probably find us here. But thank you again, everybody, for the super chats, the likes, the shares, all the support in the comments. We only do this because of the support that you all show us, and it is International Women's Day, if I can speak, on Monday. So shout out to the amazing ladies who do this week in, week out, everyone that I've met doing this, and all of the great women all across the world. But thanks again, guys, and we'll see you next week.